started with is just looking at fear in general, and what does it look like? What is fear? And there's fear of falling off in general, which if you ride a lot, probably that's not a huge one, or you wouldn't ride. There's fear that people have after they've had a bad fall, which is common. Almost everybody, if they've had a fall with an injury, has at least some fear when they go to get back on the horse. And then like we're talking about the obsessive compulsive disorder and anxiety in general. There are some people, their set point is just always a little higher. So those people, it's really important to come up with some kind of a relaxation program. And that would be progressive muscle relaxation, which is where you learn how to relax your muscles in an order that makes your mind relax too. Because if you tell someone to just relax, they go, I am relaxed. They don't know there's a difference. But if you teach them to tense first and get really tight and then relax, they can go, oh, yeah, push your shoulders up, close your face really tight, and then relax. I brought this book because mindfulness in sport has become a huge thing. And there are books on it, Mindful Sport Performance Enhancement. There are videotapes where you can actually do some of the practice. And if you tend to be a little more of an anxious person, it'd be hugely helpful to do some mindfulness practice.
And so there's YouTube videos.
Yeah, and go back to the progressive. Yeah, there's mindfulness videos too, YouTube. But for the progressive muscle relaxation, there are videos on YouTube, tons of them. You can just pick one that seems to work for you.
I think I'll put some on the website.
That would be. And then there's anxiety people have, or almost to the point, and sometimes to the point of fear in competition, like the fear of looking stupid, the fear of messing up in front of other people, the fear of disappointing someone, your trainer, your spouse, your mother. And so these are all different aspects of anxiety and fear.
Fear was always connected to anxiety.
Yeah. There's always a relationship you can have. With fear, you're going to have anxiety. It's just part of it. You can have generalized anxiety that's not specific to a particular fear. So you can have anxiety without fear, but you won't have fear without anxiety. Both cases, learning how to physically relax, your mind will relax. It's called muscle to mind relaxation. There's also mind to muscle, but that's all different. And a good relaxation skill to learn is the belly breathing, where you put one hand on your chest, one hand on your stomach, and you take a deep breath and see which one moves the most. And they should be pretty equal. Some people, it's just their chest.
Yeah.
That's shallow breathing, and that's tense breathing. And if you're tense, you're probably just breathing quickly into your chest. So what you do is you just go the other way and let your belly move the most.
Sun rising and setting, that you want it to come from the bottom, up through the nose, back down into the sunset in your belly.
That's a really good image too. And that's the other thing.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. And it takes just practicing. And you
Tons
can
of practice.
that sitting in a chair at home.
The breathing you could even do in workouts as simple as like bridges or planks. You're in a bridge and you drop your butt down to the ground. You exhale as you lift up. You inhale as you go down. And you just connect the timing of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get on the horse, you could do the same exercise. Like a little exhale as you post, an inhale as you come down.
You can work things out
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's easier to do on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And then the whole relationship between working either mentally or physically and dealing with fear is physically. The stronger you are, the more confident you are physically, the more confident you're going to be. Confidence is huge in overcoming fear and anxiety.
Yeah, and having your strengths balance you out and not just pull you down into the fetal position every time you get nervous,
Exactly.
right?
And that's what, if you see a horse bolt, you see them do this.
Oh yeah, because that's our...
Forget it, they're gone.
Yeah, but that's our instinct.
Mm-hmm.
But then what do jockeys do? You know, they're up, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
So this tells the horse to go.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I always tell
And
my
grabbing
clients,
reins.
pull
When you-
back and...
Yep. racehorses are trained, you do the bridge and you grab a hold and you jam your heels in and you hold. And the harder you hold, the faster they go. Which is why a lot of people today who aren't used to horses off the track, like we were in the 60s and 70s, they'll go to pull back on a horse they're retraining that they just got off the track and the thing takes off with them and they don't understand it. It's like,
And now their center of gravity is out of the saddle. They're not secure.
And they're doing an, oh shit,
Like,
this isn't working.
It's hard. It's hard to teach yourself though, and it goes against your instinct. It's again going into fitness. Like go at the gym and build yourself up so that you sit back.
Mm-hmm.
Your immediate reaction is here.
Absolutely.
And you're just like, nope.
Yep.
And you have to make it that quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to wait for your brain to go, oh, the horse is now being bad. Let me go ahead and
think about
connect. And now you're down.
What would be a good move here? Get out my book.
Yeah. So you need to have the brain and the body working instinctively to your benefit, not to your demise.
Mm-hmm. And we'll probably do a whole session on something like visualization and how to use visualization to train yourself to respond a certain way. Because you don't want to have to ride through 50 bolts to figure it out, you know? You're not going to do very well. But if you can ride through a bolt in your mind using visualization and responding the way you want to respond, you do that for a while, you'll have it. And when you need it, it'll be there.
Yeah. I guess that's why as an instructor, you're always like, heels down, you're always training. But at some point, the horse is going to be bouncing around and the heels are going to come up.
Uh-huh.
That's a whole other,
oh yeah.
Why is your body shortened that way? Because when you want to use strength,
hard.
it's supposed to shorten everything. Your muscles are
tight.
Yeah, to short.
And you curl up like a fetal. So
I like that when you're like tensing and getting because it's tired at that point too.
Mm-hmm.
Your muscles are kind of tired because if we go back to fear, it's going to change you physically when the fear enters into your brain and something's happening bad. Your body is going to react, whether you know it's reacting or not.
Uh-huh.
It's either getting tense, your muscles are preparing for fight
Uh-huh.
or something to happen. So all of a sudden, your body is going to change on the horse. They're going to feel it. They're already freaking out about something.
And they don't know why particularly. It's like, oh, I guess I should freak out more.
Yeah. But it's the brain, I think, in fear you have to focus on changing.
Mm-hmm. And that's the muscle.
I think it's really hard to change your physical. Like, I'm not going to get tense when the horse spooks.
No.
That's kind of impossible.
But you can get tense in a different way.
Yeah.
You can train yourself both to relax your muscles by what you do mentally, but then you also train yourself, if you're going to tense, this is what you do because that will stop the horse.
Mm-hmm.
This won't.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an isometric contraction.
Uh-huh.
Just by holding something or resisting.
Uh-huh.
You need that with riding.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
This is a little aside, but my trainer has had me, my personal trainer for the physical stuff, doing one arm rows.
Uh-huh.
And I went, oh, this is perfect for when a horse runs away.
Uh-huh.
You gotta do the one arm stop, the one rein stop. And so, hey, let's do some more of these.
And can you do it on both arms equally?
And they're not.
Or like, one's always going to be like the whole body is doing it, and the other one's, what do you think, your whole body's not doing that on a horse's rein?
Right. And you don't want to be so one-sided that if the horse is going one way, you grab the wrong rein.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to be able to do it both and have the confidence, no matter what happens, I've got the strength.
So what's something that I can do at home to go through something I'm fearful of?
Okay. We'll do more on visualization because how you do it makes it more powerful, but a really effective thing to learn to do is to use visualization to practice say you had a fall, to go back and go, okay, what happened? What did I do? It didn't work. If it didn't work, what could I do differently next time that would work better? And then I always have people run it by your trainer and see if they agree that's what you do, or even get their input and say, what would you do?
Yeah. Be on the same program.
Yeah. If Jimmy runs away with me again.
Yeah.
I was going to say Billy, but Billy didn't do that.
Billy's not a runner.
So one of the things you can do is visualize what you want to have happen. So for example, the horse took off with you. What you want to do is have a response, and you can add to this because you're the trainer. I know what I learned to do is just sit down hard, sit back, grab a rein, usually the one in the direction they're going in already, because it'll be easier to bend them in the direction they're already going in.
And their balance.
And their balance, right? They're not going to go flying off, and Lord knows what will happen.
Yeah.
But I would shove that inner heel down, sit down hard, grab the inside rein, and bring them around. And then also with the outside rein, but slip mainly the one, and then slam them any way you can. And so to sit there and practice that. I'll give you an example from my life. Okay. I bought a horse right after graduate school. I hadn't ridden in like 2 or 3 years. He was a 3-year-old that had been under saddle for 2 weeks.
Fun. Smart purchase.
Yeah, I was like, I've never had a
why
problem.
not?
I started lots of babies. What's the big deal? But he was a quarter horse. And quarter horses have moves that nobody else does. So I'd be riding him along, and all of a sudden the whole front end would drop out from under me, and he'd do a 180 and go that way and leave me in midair. Honest to God, midair, and of course I'd be on the ground. This happened a couple times, and I went, oh crap. I took a couple years off. I've lost it. I'll never be able to ride again. I'm no good. And so the first thing I did was say, shut up. That's not helpful. So that's the self-talk part.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And so I went, okay, I'll think this through. Thank goodness he only does it to the left. So I don't have to figure out both directions.
Yep.
And hopefully gets it right when he does it. So that was one where I went, okay, he ducks down and goes that way. What I have to do is sit on hard on that left seat bone, grab the right rein so it limits how far I can go that way, and really jam that left heel down so I don't go flying off to the right. And I practiced that move over and over and over using visualization, just sitting in a chair. The next time he did it with me, he got to here, and I stopped him dead.
Yeah.
And it was like, yes,
It worked. Yeah.
The funny thing was, he tried it a couple more times, same thing. I managed to stop him. Well, a couple years later, when I put him up for sale, because he was a jumper, not a dressage horse, another one. I'm good at picking out jumpers. The trainer who was going to sell him for me as a jumper got on him. He never forgot that move, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
And he pulled it on him and dumped him. So, and then when he got a new owner, same barn, I saw him out in the distance galloping without a rider. And when the guy came in, he said, he did this weird thing. He just ducked out from under me and took off to the left. And I went, oh. But that was the first time I had a chance to really use visualization to practice something after I'd learned it as a sports psychologist in graduate school, and it worked.
I think so many people would take that and do the visualization and be like, but now I'm on the ground. They would you would finish the visualization with the bad thing that happened.
Good point.
Yeah.
But you know what you do then? You go, no. No. Whether you erase. Put a big X and go, okay. And then you go through it very slowly, frame by frame, as if you're watching it on a movie and what you're seeing from the rider's perspective. And when you get to that point where you start to go, you go left heel down hard, sit down hard on the left seat bone, and you correct it.
Yeah. And I liked how you said, talk to your trainer.
Yes.
Get some, what are they going to do? What would they recommend?
Right.
Not that you're visualizing, I don't know what I'm going to do, how am I going to stop them?
And you really practice something, but it's not going to work. That would be bad. So if you're not sure, ask your trainer.
Yeah.
Would this work? What would you do? What do you think? If you really have a fear and you don't feel like you can get over it, especially if it's to the point of like PTSD where you're having flashbacks where you keep thinking about what happened and you can't get it out of your mind, absolutely go to a therapist who's trained in EMDR. It would take, I've had people in one session, it was fixed. But usually it's like 2 or 3. The first is to set up, and then you do 2 or 3, and the third one or fourth is to make sure that the new response is there. And that fear is essentially, it gets rid of unrealistic fear. It doesn't get rid of realistic fear, which is healthy to have, have one other thing here too. The positive self-talk. We'll do probably a session on that one too, because that's another skill, one of the mental skills. But what I have down here is to practice the feared activity, and that's like what I was saying with his name was Trafalgar, the quarter horse, with the British name. Yeah. Take the feared situation and break it down into little chunks. Like if you're afraid, if you kick your horse hard to make them go because they're being a butt, they're gonna blast off. Well, take it in small chunks. Kick your horse. If there's no response, kick a little harder. And then kick hard enough to make them go, but then stop them. Let them go a couple steps, because that's going to teach them not to go. But break it down until you go, oh, well, that wasn't so hard. And then go a little longer. And then ask them to move out even more. If you're afraid, say, to do an extended canter, you're afraid the horse is going to get out of control and crazy. Well, just do a canter. Get in position like you're doing a canter lengthening or an extended canter, and then bring them back. Just do it for 3, 4, 5. So you break it into chunks, whatever it is, and there's lots of ways to do that. And that's another one with your trainer. You can say, okay, well, what would be a logical step to practice, and then what, and then what.
And you're in that big canter, and you're like, oh crap, I can't hold back the reins, which a lot of people use the reins to stabilize them in the saddle. And so you really have to let go, and you have to depend on your seat and your lower core. And if you don't have that sense of, I can sit there without having to hang on with my arms at the extended canter, you're not going to be going.
No, you're not going to have confidence. Can you assess just by looking at a rider where they're weak?
Yeah.
So you would know that before you had them do like a canter.
Yeah, you would see them with their hands.
Okay.
It looks like they're okay with their seat, but as soon as you go to like extend the arms, which is just a chest press, you're not in a retracted shoulder arm. That's where people are comfortable, a lot of the dressage riders. But as soon as you have them let go, you'll see how weak the seat is. Now you have to use your seat to get the horse back as well. And so that's just core bracing, stopping your hips move, get your quads organized, and go against the movement of the horse without pulling back.
Is that something you would work them out with? Do the exercises, or just send them to a gym, or?
One I really like doing is putting riders on a Bosu. I love this one, and have them. It can hang on to a band, or you could just have reins or a lead line. Have them hold on to it and kind of start to pull them and see if they can keep their balance, or let go, see if they fall off. And so if I can pull on them and they're stable, and move around and they're stable, and they can counterbalance their seat with their lower legs, being on the Bosu, you have to depend on your feet, you can see the stability there, see how strong their seat is. So you can go into the gym, stand on the Bosu, get a cable machine, start doing some rows, and notice as I go back, am I leaning back and try to use my core? Do I lean forward and my core goes with my hands, or can I just do this? And that usually helps people keep their seat independent and strong, so that you can let go when you can.
This is so important. And I would guess that most trainers can't look at a rider and know exactly what's not working and why.
Yeah, but a lot of trainers are concerned on the horse.
That's right.
Like your horse isn't round, your horse isn't coming up enough. You need more from the hindquarters. So they're always going after the rider to do something to make the horse perform better.
But they miss that piece, that it could be the rider just isn't.
But see, I was taught by Germans, it's always your fault.
That's true.
Yeah, you're doing something to make that horse.
Was ist los?
You're not going forward, it's you.
Right.
Slow it down, stop him from doing this, just make him not.
Just do it.
What's your problem?
Yeah,
so I took it further, like, okay, tell me how, please. So yeah, I'm surprised with a lot of, and it could be just women aren't super strong in legs as men are. They can hold on more muscle so they could sit in the saddle. And women have to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though all riders say they're really strong in their seat. And it's like, yeah, no.
It varies.
It's not the same kind of a strength.
Yep.
So the independence leads to confidence, which then you can, go a little further in your canter and build up that mental confidence. Oh, okay, I can go the whole long side without having to pull back.
Yeah, and they will stop when I ask them to. Here's what you would do if you have a fear, or you're dealing with something that you recognize as either extreme anxiety or fear. Is the first thing you would do is ask the question is this fear? And if it's pretty clear to you it is, then what you do is ask yourself, what exactly is the fear? Define it. I'm afraid that when I ask the horse to really move out, he's going to get carried away and run away with me. Okay? So you describe it to yourself. And then another question is, when does it happen? Well, when I ask him to do a canter extension. Does it happen every time? Does it happen for you on every single horse you ride? Does it happen in specific circumstances? Like I'm riding, I heard that your indoor arena where you are, there's a lot of flapping blue plastic going by and trucks, and so the horses are great if nothing's going by, but if something scary happens, then the horse is more likely to get out of control. So if you think about the specific situation, how long has this been happening? Is this something new for you? Or has it always been fear you've held? You're just now challenging yourself. If it's a newer fear, that's actually easier to get rid of than something that's long-standing.
Was there something that the horse did before
Yes.
that makes you
Yes.
afraid?
And then a question to ask yourself, is it important for me to get over this fear? Which seems like well, heck yeah. But some people go, I don't care about doing canter lengthenings. I could just do normal walk, trot, and canter. Or jumping. It'd be like, I don't need to jump. So if that's the case, then you're done with that part of it. And then another is, what are your thoughts or the images that go with the fear? And we've talked about ways to work with that a little bit. If it's really extreme, to go to someone who does EMDR. And then we talked about how physical fitness is really important in overcoming fear. If you know you're strong, that helps your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also talked about relaxation in general and learning how to breathe, either the belly breathing or nice slow breathing. And we talked about the muscle tension to relaxation and learning how to relax your whole body physically.
Physical fitness to practice all those things,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to be on the horse. Wasn't there a story where somebody did this on the lunge line and you had breathing techniques or hypnosis on the
Yes.
lunge line?
And it was
You could do something on the horse.
Yes. And so it's progressive muscle relaxation on the lunge line. And so what we did, there was this clinic where a woman she was just tense. And the first thing I thought was, she really needs to learn how to relax. But she's out here, here's her horse, he's saddled, ready to go. And then it just crossed my mind, let's do it on the horse. And so I had her trainer get out there on the lunge line, because that's not my job. And the trainer had her just walk around in the lunge. We had her, I think she kept her stirrups to start with, and by the time we were done, she dropped them. But again, she had a strap on her saddle we put on that she could hold on if she needed to, but it was basically ride with your hands in position, but you're not holding the reins. So you can just work with that. And then I took her through, I stood in the middle with the trainer, and we started with the top of the head. And I started by having her imagine there was a string or something tied to the top of her head that would pull her up, and weights at the bottom of her feet that would pull them down, and to stretch. So we started with just a stretch, let everything hang down. And then I did, starting with her face, I had her make a face, like scrunch it up really ugly tight, and then relax it, maybe even smile a little. And then for the neck and shoulders, I had her shrug her shoulders really, really tight and hold it. And she's walking on a lunge line, and then relax it. And then I had her take her hands, like with reins in front of her, and squeeze and make fists really, really tight. And so it was this kind of a thing I did all the way down the body, to the stomach, to hips, the thighs, bring your toes up really tight, point your toes really down really tight, and then relax. And so she learned to relax, and pretty quickly the horse, one of the reasons why we knew she was really tense is the horse was tense.
Mm-hmm.
And the trainer said this horse was not tense with everybody.
Yeah.
So, and as she's doing this, the horse started to relax. And then I said, okay, are you comfortable moving into a trot? And she said, yeah. And so the trainer put her into a trot, and we went through the same thing, just relaxing. And if I saw a tight group of muscles on her body while she was riding, I'd have her do something to tighten and relax. And then I had her exaggerate the relaxation and almost flop.
Mm-hmm.
And just give her that range of motion while we're just focusing on relaxation. By the time we were done, the horse was relaxed, she was relaxed, she dropped her stirrups, she said it was the most relaxed on horse she'd ever been on in her life.
Yeah.
So, and then her trainer, we did a little tape that she could learn, a little script, and she could read it to her when she
perfect. So she could
her,
do that.
Carry it on.
So that's something people could do with their trainers.
And now with cell phones, you could have a recording on your cell phone with earbuds and put your helmet on over that because you don't want to ride without a helmet. And then just do it yourself.
Tips from Timmie.
Yes. Take my word for it.
It's like you're saying that from experience or something.
Talk and walk and chew gum because I